I'm V. I'm a director, storyboard artist, a webcomic writer and artist. You might have seen my work in shows like The Loud House, Craig of the Creek, Thundercats Roar, and the opening title for Monster High, the current version. I have been an episode director on 2 shows, which haven't come out yet. And I've always kind of wanted to showcase my skills as a director. Unfortunately, the way you usually do that is that you take your board artist's boards and put them together in a reel. That's how you show what you directed. But it's not a great way, in my opinion, to see what the director really did, because you didn't draw the drawings. It is your artist's work. It's a little bit hard to see what your input was as a director in that work. So I came up with an idea. I love to give feedback on people's storyboards. It's how I personally learned how to storyboard. I was really lucky that I had supervisors on a couple of shows that took the time to sit down with me and go over my board and explain to me their thought process, why they're making the choices they're making in terms of staging, filmmaking, etc. So I thought it would be great for me to do the same thing with up-and-coming artists and basically storyboard artists who want to get a portfolio review. It's a win for them because they get to get feedback. It's a win for me because I get to show how I give notes, the way I direct, and it's a win for you who's watching this video because you get to learn from the notes the artist is getting. Obviously, I upload the video with their consent and, after they've reviewed it. So without further ado, let's get into my note process for storyboards. I hope you'll enjoy this video. I personally think the boards that I am reviewing are very good quality and a great way for everybody to learn. All right, let's do this.
A quick after the fact edit is I wanted to make sure you guys knew Jeremy wrote and drew these boards. So he also wrote the story for this. That's why I will give some creative quotation mark notes. A creative note is a note that pertains to the story more than just the technical aspect, which would be camera framing or staging. Like I said for the previous boards, I'm just gonna flip through this and do some voices from what I'm getting from these boards and just kind of get in the mood for it. So we have a training, hangar, and I can't say this word. But we're in space and good evening, cadet. Are you ready for your assessment? About that, sir. I think we assigned the wrong testing station. What could you possibly make you say something like that? Next to his board. Sir, I really think no excuses, cadet. Your chin's pretty good boy. Not really funny. Your good boy head is really funny. Sniff. Sir, yes, sir. Good. Back into the ignition, Mike. Let's get this puppy moving. I like these dog jokes. That's arf. Room. I like the tail. It's really funny. Cam shake. Exercise will test your maneuvers and focus subject. What exercise would that be? Don't play dumb with me, cadet. Boop. Oh. Shing. Don't sit there. Initiate fetch maneuvers. Oh, it's really cute, this little dog. Nope. Squeak. Squeak. Zoomies. Walkie zoomies. That's really cute. Watch your scanner. No ball. No ball. Ball. Oh, it's a little tail on the right. It's really cute. There. Ding. Slowing down. Not fast enough, cadet. Oh. It's getting into 2-meter right. We can't possibly fit through there. And I guess it's time to roll over. It's so funny. Ching. Ching. Slam. Ah. Shing, shing, shing. Oh, that's really cute. It's a dog. I'd say that performance deserves a passing grade. and a treat. Good boy. Yeah, it's really cute. Very, very cute. And I really like it. I think it's also, I like how much the town, like the great towns, I like how clean this is. It's also like a good level of clean. Um, I think that setup too of the frontal is good for a sitcom. I think you have the right intuition set up the scene. It feels like a little bit of like an adult sitcom where I haven't seen Final Space, but I'm guessing Final Space is staged a little bit that way. It's you're pinging back to a lot of the same shots. I think that's really good. I feel like overall this is like pretty straightforward. It's like I'm gonna get in the nitty gritty of this. So I didn't realize it said woof. Let this. Yeah. I think that's really funny. I think you can make it bigger. I think for something like that, you're setting this up to be a bunch of dog jokes and in space. I think it's really clever. Maybe you could do something. This is just a suggestion. Maybe training hanger, and then you put woof. You make it real big so people like don't, because you don't want people to miss out on your joke, right? You want to maybe make it in the shape of a dog already. Maybe it's like, like a, I don't know. Maybe it's like a dog like this. I don't know. You can come up with a good design. Maybe there's some teeth. It's gonna be the controversial moment of this video. But if everything was going perfectly in a perfect world, everybody would have a ton of time to do their jobs. And design would have the time to give you a great concept for this hanger, and you could have a great little funny design that is dog inspired and show that it's a hanger. Unfortunately, sometimes on productions, everybody's just like swamped, and the board artist is the one that has to come up with that idea. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect design, but it's definitely good to have something where that really shows. So that's because when you're going to be pitching your board, you're going to be pitching to like either your director or the showrunner, maybe sometime an exec, and you want to make sure the joke lands. So make it real big. And so it's really funny. So it would be really funny. I don't know. This same thing. It would be really funny if it looked even more like a dog. Like, like maybe it's just like this, like what you have. But then, and then here you have all the little, and maybe there's just like 2 feet, so it looks like teeth. I don't know. Yeah, the ears are great. Oh, that's really funny. Because what if the ears... Okay, sorry. I'm like, that's really funny about the joke I just came up with, which is like, don't do that. Don't say your jokes are really funny. I'm talking about myself here. So what if the ears are like this, right? And then when it's like, it looks kind of like, but it's like the wings that you have. But then when it's like it goes like, yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. That would be really funny. I don't know. It's just so silly. Oh, I think for this shot, I think it's a great shot that you have later. I think it's great that it's a reveal. Now that's the kind of note that I give when I want to plus something. It's not a note that's like something's not working. It's a note where I'm like, we can push this more. So what I would probably do, I want to keep that reveal that you have, but maybe so keep your cadet. This part right here, it feels a little bit like dead air. So maybe we want to make it a little bit less. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is very tropey. I don't know, but maybe you do something like this. It's the same door. But when it opens, there's shadow. There's like some shadow in your cockpit. And when a door opens, you just see two little glowing eyes. And then, so, you know, like it opens, we just see two little glowing eyes. And then when he steps out of the shadow, that's when you reveal he's a dog. You know, it's kind of like, because it's like this, right? And then finally she's like, it's very similar to what you have. It's very, very similar to what you have. It's just kind of like pushing the gag a little further. It's a great pose for him to. This is also just kind of like, it's in between boards and revision. But here I would probably add, I would add a pose of the dog, like, you know, like turning the seat, you know. So like, one is like a hand. The hand would go here, right? Kind of like this, on seat, and then 2, turn the seat, and then 3, what you have here, basically. This image. About that, sir. I think I might have been assigned to the wrong testing station. I wonder if his acting. I wonder. I know what you're trying to do here. Is like he's nervous. He's looking left and right. I wonder if there's a way that we can kind of like spice up that acting, where maybe he's trying to look his way, you know. Maybe he's like turning a little bit, and he's like, well, you know, like, you know, you don't have to. Maybe just don't have him look right, because it's a little confusing, because we don't know if he's we don't really know what he's reacting to, kind of, if that makes sense. It's good. What could possibly make you say something like that? I think that's what it's really funny. The only thing is like, the only thing I want to make really, really clear is that in this world, humans are usually with humans and dogs are with dogs. And then that gag lands real hard. Maybe like dogs only, or like, I think I really like that it's dog toys. It's really funny. I just wonder, what I'm trying to say is that it could be, like when I'm reading this board, I'm like, it potentially could be in a world where humans don't pilot these ships, you know what I mean? Like maybe dogs, maybe it's like Planet of the Apes, but instead of the apes, it's like the dogs, and there's like a couple of people that are there. Like I'm not 100% what your world building is there. So the joke doesn't read immediately to me, but that's like kind of like what's kind of tough with these like high concept shows, right? So maybe what's, you know what? Maybe it's as simple as like adding a shot here where like we have station roof and stuff, and then maybe he's like checking like his assignment or whatever, and he's like, I don't know, assignment, and he's like, people, I don't know, human spaceship. Just something to set up the fact that he's like, I don't know, he's a person, and he was hoping to be in the person ship, if that makes sense. Or maybe he's like instructor, you know, and you're hoping to see like a scary guy, you know, but definitely a person. I don't know. And it could be funny if it's just like, you know, like maybe there's like a note on there, or like the friend is like, careful, he's mean, but it's a person. You know what I mean? Just you set it up that way, and he's freaking out. You have the same thing where he's like, "Oh no, oh, can't mess up again." Like, oh no, oh shucks, why did I get this mean instructor? And then whoop, he's like, hey, and then maybe and I think because here's the reason why I'm thinking about all this. It's like you have a reveal here, and I think your joke is that reveal. It's like, oh, he's a dog, and then that joke is just like Crazy Town, you know, like, but before that, you still thought like, oh no, like my, like this is a very important experience for him. He's looking, so you have this shot. You see what you're expecting. It's gonna be this mean guy instructor. He's looking at his spreadsheet or whatever, and then he like, are you ready for your assessment? And then he turns around and he's like, sir, yes, sir. And then he's like, huh, like, and then when he puts the hand on there, he's like, I think I'm at the wrong station. Wrong station. And then he comes down. Now, what could possibly make you say something like that? And then maybe he has a little bit of a like, like, I can't point the obvious here, And then he's like, here. And then, I don't know how silly you want to be, but maybe he's just like looking down. Oh, shoot. Sometimes I draw these like crooked smiles, and then I want to be like, and then, okay, this is just me going on a tangent, but sometimes I'm like, and then I'm like, this isn't a smile, but now it's a smile, but it's almost the same line, right? It's so important, right? It's like, so yeah, it's like A, B, and it's kind of funny because he's the only one being like, this is crazy, and I'm the only one who realizes how crazy this is. And then you see this, and you're like, uh-oh, well, you're on your own. It's really funny. I think you could even, I think you could even be like, in order for this to really read really well, I would say this. And then maybe so like 3 quick cuts, and 1 cut would be squishy toy, bone, tennis ball, and then you zoom out and it's like this thing, and then you're like, oh yeah, good luck, buddy. And then he's like, oh, just a quick thing here. I think you know what I'm gonna say. He's right screen here, he's left screen here, he's right screen here. You can just kind of like flop it, I think. Or I don't know. No, here's what I'll say. If you do a couple of quick cuts and you zoom out, it's okay that he's on the left side now. But now I kind of want to see him left again. I want to yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you're gonna move him over in the frame, like so. You just move your camera with the camera tool. You keep that acting, and I think here, when he's looking left, now you can have a little camera going from A to B, like this. Some people are gonna fight me in the comments for this solve, but I think it works because it's like he's left, and now we pan slightly to the left, so we know now we're expecting the dog to come left screen. No excuses, cadet. I love this drawing. He's so intense. It's so funny. And so here, yeah, definitely left screen like this. And you could even have, if you want, this is up to you. You could even have a little bit of him being like, sweating. But I really, I really, it's hard because I do like that he's like on. I don't know. I think the acting really works, and yeah, it's just really funny. I just really like these drawings. Yeah, I really like this. Sniff, sniff. Really funny. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Same thing here. I would probably have I'm just not really a big fan of how much space there's like down here. So it's just kind of like maybe you can do a little closer and just move the camera up a little bit, just so you don't have as much of the. Yeah, let's get this puppy moving, dude. This is really funny. Arf, the tail is funny. It's so funny. But yeah, that's actually the shot when you could have like the ears go like, you know. Oh, hey, what if the I don't know. You could come up with a bunch of gags. Maybe there's like a tongue and he's like a I don't know. And yeah, like you can come up with like a bunch of like funny like spaceship dog spaceship novelty jokes. I think it would be great. Um, the only thing I would say here is you have your ship going right, screen right. But now you have your camera moving screen left. So it's a little confusing. I would rather have your camera go screen right. So your A to B would be like this instead of like this. And yeah, I think I think you can still have this. You can still have the ship go left and then right. But I think because it's a little confusing, like right now, the way that you're leading the eye of your audience. So I think that's going to clear it up real nice. And yeah, that's also nice. I might watch your. The only thing here in terms of like composition is that he's a little like he's a little tight here. I would just kind of spend the time to have him be like boop boop and then or maybe like this and then maybe like this, you know, maybe like so they have room for this. Just kind of like look up a bunch of like reference of like people in spaceships, just so that like here he looks almost like he's like he has a blanket on or something, you know what I mean? He's very very close to the so you need to make sure that it looks like they're really in the cockpit. So that's the main thing. But the acting is great. Play time with me. Boop. That works. That works. Slow mo. And camera turns. Yep. I think it would be funny if you kind of like break down this acting a little bit more. So first what we're seeing is the dog is like like I can't wait to see how he's gonna deal with this. But then we're like seeing this. And then number 2 is like, you know, yeah, exactly. We want him to notice and he's like, wait, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we doing anything? And then he's just looking at it. And then no, I like what you did where it's he's just looking at from the corner of his eyes. So then it's just kind of like that expression right here is funny. Yeah. And you stay on this expression the whole time. Initiate. And then I think this is a little bit broad going from this to this. I think I would have something where it's a little bit more like, you know, like, you know, uh, like the shoulders come up, kind of thing, and and then this drawing, but not so much turning his whole body towards the dog. This is very nitpicky, you know. This is kind of, but this is the kind of notes you can get when you're working in TV, and like a director can kind of like tell you like, oh, like this is like in animation, it's not kind of it's gonna be too broad, it's gonna be too distracting, so it's that could be like so cute. So, I think it kind of works too because you don't really want to go from like this to so far of a 3/4 back to this, which is also a frontal, right? You want to kind of keep it there. You guys think this works? Great. Whip in. It's great. Wetcher scanner, so same thing as the other shot. Kind of work on the layout a little bit here. I don't think it's I don't think it's it would be a what's the word? Like if somebody's looking at this as your portfolio sample, I don't think people would be like, oh, no way, you know. But I think it's good practice for you, right? Like just for next. No ball, that's really good. I do feel like this needs to be an extra button or something, or maybe in order for people to really understand, maybe you have like a little dog like this, you know, and then you have it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the little dog icon looks like it's like in pale gray, and then when you get to this, like the tail like starts going like from this to this to because just so just so it reads, just so we make sure. I like this. This is really cute. Ears on nose, really cute. Chook. I wonder if for this we don't want to be a little closer, because I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like from a small thing here in the screen to something that's like here, first, like our eye is like in two different places, and I wonder if you can't just solve that by having you're kind of like the screen, right? You're kind of like, we're kind of looking at something here. I wonder if you're just simply closer. I don't know. Yeah, like if you can position it. Maybe what I would do is I wouldn't be so close here. Maybe what I would just kind of go from here and have the blaster here, and maybe I would make the blaster a little bit smaller, just like, you know, something like this. I don't know. Now I'm not as lost as, like, you know. This is kind of nitpicky, but I think it's just good practice to just make sure your audience, like I was saying earlier, like you don't want to lose your audience's attention at all. So I think this could be fun if you had a little perspective here, like, you know, like the ray. I wonder, okay, here's what I'll say. I wonder if you could have your ray be pointing up a little bit instead of being down like this, instead of the shot being like this. This is super nitpicky. But this is the kind of notes you could potentially get on a TV show. I don't know. Maybe I'm making this up. Maybe people are gonna be like, she's crazy. But maybe you go that way. Like it would be more like this instead of like I really do like this shot. But the reason why I say this is so that like instead of having the beam going this way, you could have the beam in three, like in like kind of going more this way. I don't know why I like it like that. Here's another after the fact edit. The reason why I wanted the ball to be up and the ship to be down in the space of the screen is because that would sell the idea that the ship is still trying to catch the ball and the ball is still out of reach. So you're still kind of selling this idea that they're about to get it, but they don't have it yet. If the ship is up and the ball is down on that very flat, two-dimensional space that is a screen, like a screen is actually just flat, and you can literally have like a Y and X axis. I like for the characters that who are in a position like of like struggle to be lower on the, I think it's the Y axis, the vertical, you know. I like them to be a little bit lower on the screen than whatever it is that is in quotation mark a higher position of power. Here the ball is still escaping them, so I think it's better for the ball to be up and the ship to be down. So that's the reason why I kind of went that way, and I wanted to clarify that because as I was watching again, I thought it wasn't very clear. Trying to think. Because I feel, okay, here's well. I think the reason why my brain went there is because it's kind of nice to go up to catch something. Because it's like, it's out of reach and now, you know, whereas, but I could be making this up and this could be all completely wrong. But I feel like when you're going like this, it's like you're really hunting it and you're going to get it no matter what. I feel like this is like, because you're up here and the ball is down here, this is a little bit in a position of power, in a little position of like having the upper hand and a little bit of like lower hand, and like now catching it, it feels a little bit more like yay, you know. But you really don't have to do this. This is just kind of me talking about how I think, and someone will know it sometimes that I like slow him down. So he's very close to the glass. Make sure. Oh wait, hold on. Let me roll it back. Is it the glass? Oh, so it would be this part right here. Okay. Yeah. I think here, okay, so yeah. That yeah, okay. I see. Okay. Um I think for that kind of thing then you want to make sure that there's enough information that it doesn't get confusing, just because you might have people looking at your shots sometimes not with like the full sequence. So I don't know. You have some vents here. I think that's good. Just make sure you add a little bit enough details that we know. I think the fact that you had the vents here worked for me. And I think oops. Where was I? Oh, here. Here, the fact I wouldn't don't I would just put it all in this gray. Put it all in this gray. And yeah, and then it's not as confusing because I really thought he was like right against the glass. And yeah. Yeah, I would just kinda I don't know, maybe I'm just being super picky here, but just make sure you kinda have a little bit more of that. The seats feel a little bit more, I don't know. Like it feels a little bit big, the seat compared to him. You know what I mean? Like I would have this seat a little bit more like this. And for him, I would kind of want to see the sit behind, unless he's like way Yeah, he's like leaning forward a lot, and then the seat is a little bit behind him. Maybe he's like having an indication of where the seat is. Can't possibly feed through there. So that's interesting. So they're grabbing the ball, they're slowing down the ball, but they're still moving after the ball. Okay. Yeah. I think here the only reason why I'm kind of like I'm only wondering, he's like, we can't possibly fit through there. Is I think maybe we need to see the ship in this. So you keep pretty much everything you have here, but instead of having the ball so close, you have your ship right here, and the ship is obviously bigger, and then you have the ball. Basically, yeah. Because also I was like, well, I don't really know what the problem is here. I'm just talking with like pictures. So now you're like, oh no, like it's definitely not gonna fit kind of thing. Here, just also like a little camera, maybe like a little framing kind of thing. Just kind of like there's a little bit too much air. This just kind of like make sure your seat is a little bit more, and I would just kind of frame it down just a little bit, just so you have that's great. Yeah, especially because you have like this from this. There's a little just paying attention to that kind of stuff. This is quite funny. Make sure he's a little bit more screen left. That's my, I don't know. I'm always just kind of, maybe you could kind of like have his arm, like you keep that pose, you just kind of bring the arm a little closer to his head, and then you can fit him closer to, make sure that he's really screen left rather than a little too center. And then for him, make sure he's a little more screen right. So the same thing. We just with your camera tool, you can get that. It's cute. Very cool. Here is just like it would be nice to have something that reads a little nicer. What I want to see is, ooh, here's well. Okay, I just had the idea pop up in my head. I just want to. It's kind of like similar to what I was saying earlier. We're kind of like in a 2D space. It would be kind of cool if, like, you have like your two asteroids, and the ship is right here or whatever. It's getting bigger. I don't know if this drawing makes any sense. Hold on. It makes sense in my head. Yeah, you have like the asteroids right here. You have the ship. That's already it's already you can already tell that it's not gonna fit. And then it's getting bigger. So that's pose A, and pose B is like no. But then, ooh, that green works really well in this gray. Then you pan up as your ship rolls over like this. And then like this. You know what I mean? So now we have this nice, clean, negative space right here, if that makes sense. Like, here you have that idea that, like, possibly this big mass was gonna squish this other mass coming towards. But now that mass fits perfectly well. Like, it turns up and then whoosh, right above the meteorite, asteroid. So that way it's very clear with your picture that it's not gonna get bumped. Whereas here, I'm like, it could possibly get scraped, you know? This is cool. He's getting closer. So, oh wait, are you in between? He's in between?
He's like
Oh yeah, so so he's above. He's like if we have like the two planets here, like he's right here, right? Oh, right here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why you want a shot like this, so you can make it really, really, really clear. You really want to make it like, yeah, maybe that's your end pose here, you know? So like it's very close. And you could even have when it comes closer here, could even be some sparks or whatever. Like, oh, he just made it red in time. Because here I feel like I'm above. I wasn't really quite sure where I was. So I think what you could do, this, and then out. And then now to sell that idea that he's right in between, you want to have a really, really clear composition. Maybe something like this. And there's like a shadow or something. I don't know. Just something where we know where we are a little bit more. Because right now I'm just like, I think we do want to show that it's like, ooh, this is tight. Like he could still get squished, you know? Trying to figure that shot out right now. Figuring it out live. I think this is a good moment to kind of see on Star Wars how they do these kind of shots. Yeah. Just to make sure, because you really want to sell that idea that maybe the way you sell that idea is that like, so you have it like this, and these two masses right here, they slowly kind of like get closer to each other like this. And your ship is going like this. But it feels like there's still a lot of room. What you want is you don't want there to look like there's a lot of room for your ship, basically. So, I'm trying to figure out basically yours. Yeah, I think maybe something like this, you know. It still looks like there's too much room. This is really interesting because this is it kind of shows my process and like how I try to kind of sell these ideas. So right here, there's barely enough room. Okay, maybe. Maybe. I think it has to be kind of frontal with that to kind of really sell that idea. Maybe like this. Maybe it's just like this. Yeah. Maybe something like this. Right? Like, and like you have like so all of what's in blue right here, that's that's the space, right? And you have the stars, and you have like your background here. That's just kind of like basically the holes on the planets just kind of keep disappearing in the perspective, like whoosh, 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 whoosh. And maybe the ship is getting a little closer to camera. But what I'm really trying to show here is that we want to make it feel like, ooh, it's real. It's real tight. And maybe if the ship kind of like pivots a little bit, there's like some sparks, that's like scraping against the planet. Just making it like to kind of like build that tension. And then you could have this, but instead of having this be a horizontal shot like you did, maybe it would work better like this, right? It's exactly your shot, but his head, yeah, his head is like this. He's going that way. This is going that way. That's the space, and it's slowly kind of approaching this way. So it's basically your shot, but less edit after the fact. Sometimes I realize that it's a little bit hard to catch all the notes or be completely clear-minded when you're doing some notes live. What I wanted to see is like I kept the shot here. I kept it going flat, but I feel like because we set it up in that previous shot that right here that the ship is going towards us. So basically in this shot, we have the ship going this way, right? Like this is an arrow, a 3D arrow, like this, all right? Because the ship is going this way, I think we have to stay in that angle so it reads really well. So I think what would work, the composition is very similar, but we would be a little bit more of a frontal with our character, and that's the asteroid that's right there, like make sure you get the perspective. And this is the sky right here. And basically the ship is going this way towards the camera. And this background of the asteroid is, the texture is going to recede in the background, making it look like, we are doing is it a dolly? It's not a pan follow, but basically the ship is going towards us and the asteroid is just kind of receding and the ship is slowly getting closer and closer to the asteroid that way. So that's the movement here. There's one type of movement here that's going closer to camera. There's a texture here, second, that's receding in the background. And the third type of movement is the cockpit is getting closer to the asteroid. And it's kind of creating that tension and a feeling that like, oh, maybe things are going to go bad. Because it's kind of like what you have here. But because here it just looks like he could easily go that way. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything about spaceships and what I'm saying is. Yeah, and I think, and here you could just have like you would have to flop, but you definitely have the other meteorite right. Blue. And I think for this, I really like this. Shomp. And then it's like, and then before we go to this, it could be like, what? What? I did it. It could be even funny, like, see that? Hey, whoa, I did it. Hey, wasn't that? Wow, it's so great. I'm so good. Pan out. He's like this. You should. And then he's like, I give this a passing grade. And then he's like, and then I don't know. It's just kind of like this expression is funny. I'm just trying to make this expression land. Or maybe, no, yeah. He's like this. He's like, I did it. And then he's like, oops, I got overstepped, like, ooh, I got too excited here. And so it's like 1, 2, and then 3. And then it's like, yeah, passing grade. But then he's kind of, happy. And then he's just kind of like, huh? Oh, so I didn't fail kind of thing? And retreat. Heh, this is really funny. Good boy. This is great. Yeah, I think that's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for watching, and if you love the content, like and subscribe, and leave your comments, whatever you're thinking, in the comment section below.